It's a new year, it's February, that can only mean one thing. It's time for the return of Newcastle Drag Idol. And if you're wanting to know all the details and get some exclusive interviews with the contestants on their journey, well, that's what I'm here for. Welcome to Snatch Talk. Oh, hello there, I'm the Velvet Snatch. What a roller coaster 2024 was for me. I saw you all this time last year where I got to be a guest judge in the semi-final of Drag Idol. Then I was a finalist in the National Mixed Drag Great Britain competition where I placed a very close third behind 2023 Idol winner Dylan D. Dixon and 2024 semi-finalist Bella B. Campbell, who took home the crown. Then, after that, I had the insane honour of being welcomed back as a Drag Idol All-Star and getting to do a performance at Boulevard that I am very proud of. Honestly, thank you so much to everyone who has reached out to say that my performance struck a chord with them. It was amazing to be able to put that sentiment out into the world, so thank you to everyone that supported me and helped me bring it to life. Now, there was going to be a Snatch Talk for All Stars, but oddly enough, it was incredibly difficult to be in the show, film it, and do interviews when we're all running around backstage like chickens with our heads cut off. Safe to say, though, that it was an incredible night, and you can watch the whole show by clicking on the link in the description below, or on YouTube, up here, I think. And while I won't spoil it for you, it's fair to say that the best woman won. Anyway, enough about last year. It's 2025 now, and we were at Rusty's Show Bar in Newcastle upon Tyne to see what the 15 new contestants this year would bring to the world-renowned Drag Idol competition. Before the show started, we were all treated to a pre-show by Show Bar cast member and fellow All-Star Stacey Recht. Then it was time for our host Gladys Duffy to take to the stage and introduce our panel of judges. Plastique was out first, looking incredible in black and gold and giving her advice for the contestants this year.
What you need to do is every week just come out here and really be yourself. If I look back at all the winners, like Reese Witherspoon, for example, was unapologetically Reese Witherspoon for the entire 6 weeks, and you knew exactly what you were getting. Same with Dylan, same with Bonnie and Ben, same with Rita. If you look at that, same with you, you knew what you were going to get from that person every week. I think let us fall in love with you as a person and we'll enjoy your performances.
With Gladys pointing out that this year was Plastique's 10th anniversary since entering the competition herself. How time flies, eh? Parmo Queen Penni T was out next, sporting a recent injury, and that's probably the only time I'm going to be mentioning Penni T and sports in the same sentence this year. However, it wasn't going to stop our resident choreographer, who had her own expectations for the entrance.
I feel like I want to see a slight difference to last year because the few years before that, week one was strong. We had a very, very strong week one. Last year, the competitors came and it was probably a weaker week one that we've had in a long time. They picked it back up at week two, don't get me wrong, but it didn't have the impact that we had before. I want people to come and just like, we want to be entertained. We're here to be entertained, just like you are all here to be entertained as well. So give us fun, give us energy, just give us fucking something, and don't just stand on the stage being as boring as a fucking wank and doing nothing.
As boring as a wank, everybody. That wasn't a description of you, it was just my favourite sentence that you said.
Now, I say it every year, but it really wouldn't be Idol without our final judge for the night, the sensational, iconic, hilarious national treasure herself, Miss Rory, who, as usual, milked the applause for all it was worth. But what was she looking for from the night?
I think I'm looking for a finish before midnight. That would suit me down to the ground. However, I brought a little packed lunch because I thought it might... Well, I brought a packed lunch, but then... She was straight on me fucking mini cheddars like a hungry hippo.
Oh.
I absolutely loved Kingdom. I love that kind of stuff that turns your head and makes you think differently.
Something unexpected.
I'm looking for the unexpected.
Backstage, emotions were high, with all of our contestants feeling the nerves and excitement of being in the competition and getting their chance to win the coveted crown and £500 cash prize. Now, it's really nice seeing how many entrants this year are veterans of the wonderful open drag nights hosted by Pebble Dash at its new home in Oscar's Bar and Lounge after the sad closure of Bobby's Newcastle. But after getting their fancy photos taken by LAH Photography, it was time to get on with the show. However, not before I got the chance to speak to my former team mentor and regular judge, Penni T. Hello there, I'm here with the incredible, the sensational, the divine, the has done her own makeup today, Penetration. How
And
you
after
doing?
that introduction, thank you, Velvet. We'll see you all next week for Snatch Talk. I'm grand, I'm really, really excited. A new year. How are you? How have you been?
I'm good. Like I survived last year. Like doing mixed drag. Like it took so much out
Yeah.
of me, and then sort of realizing that it was just another year now, and just being like, oh wow, what do I do with myself?
It
You know?
seems to be going quicker. Every year, like, this comes around so much quicker than it used to. Like, when I first got into it, like, 11 years ago, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for Drag Idol. It just took so long, but now it comes around so quick. That's when you know you're getting old and you're close to death. And she's a little bit closer than me.
Yeah, considerably closer than you. The hair's already gone. What's next? What'll drop off next?
That's why I'm wearing this.
To be fair, I was saying to Gladys earlier, like the way I know that Drag Idol's coming up is when Chris goes on holiday. As soon as I see him on the beach, I'm like, oh God, it's happening again.
Oh, and there's us all stressing what are we going to wear, what we're going to do, and that bastard's laid on a beach.
Yeah.
A beach.
But so we need to talk about the competition. What are you expecting from people this year?
Do you know what? Every year you kind of have an idea of what you want to see. But, and I've said this for a while now, with the growth of drag altogether and of Drag Idol, I don't think you can predict what you want to see anymore.
Yeah.
It comes to the stage of, you know, we all appreciate that all drag is valid, but there's that much diversity now. It's like, it's as if we're more of a talent show now. Everybody's still doing the drag with the makeup and the costumes and all that kind of stuff, whether they're a king, a queen, whatever they are. But then it's just a talent show.
Yeah, it's like they've all got the drag down, and now they're just entertaining us.
And I think what I like with Idol is, not so much with week one, but after that, we can kind of start to learn about them a bit more when they get given the themes.
Yeah.
Because the themes, either you fly through them and do amazing, or they pull you back and you're like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do for this. And that's why I used to like the mentors.
Yeah.
I did used to like the mentors.
I keep thinking they should come back. Like, I love that, you know, I know a lot of the people this year are from the open drag and they're seasoned people who have performed a lot over the scene and whatnot. But it's still, mentors help. Like the idea, you know, when me and Chosa and everyone was in, like your mentorship, you were someone to bounce ideas off. Like the idea of being able to ask you stuff without feeling like you spoil it.
Yeah, and I wasn't shy where you come with an idea and I just look and go, no, you're not going to do that. I'll always remember 2015 with Hazaba when she wanted to do, I think it was Amy Winehouse she was going to do for Dead Famous, and I just was like, come on Hazaba, that's a little bit predictable. We were sat in my house and our mum just went, what about being Robin Williams but as Mrs. Doubtfire? And I was like, that's genius, because we all love our mum. Our mum comes up with some of the best ideas. And I was like, it's genius. We even tried to think of ways to set tits on fire. Like, honestly, we actually did. And then when we realised that she was only 3 foot something herself, the whole of her was going to go up and put them tits on fire. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm excited. I am excited.
Yeah.
I've done this now 11 years and it doesn't get dull. It doesn't get dull. Every year is fresh, every year is new, and every year I go home, sit in my bed with my McDonald's and just think, this has been phenomenal.
This has been phenomenal.
No, it's incredible. No, thank you so much for
You
speaking
are
to me,
more
Penni
than
T.
welcome.
We will see you later.
Yeah. SnatchTalk!
Now, onto the performances. Braving the terrifying first performance spot was scene regular Vespa, and she had something to tell us.
I'm Greek. Greek. Greek.
Pardon? Could you maybe spell it out for us?
I don't know a lot about Greek culture.
Oh, right. It was a nice number to start us off, with a beautiful outfit and multiple reveals. Plus, there was the comedic word insertion style championed by previous winner Reese Witherspoon. I will say I felt the editing let it down a bit, with cuts between different songs and sections being a bit jarring and not quite being on the beat, but everything else was there. Plastique enjoyed it too, calling it a good number and liking the reveals, but pointing out that each reveal was to something slightly less impressive than the last. Penny also liked it, describing it as fun and drawing parallels to Reese's style from last year, but stating that there was still room for growth and how she wanted to see more next week. Rory pointed out that this was the most they've ever spoken to a Greek person, well, that wasn't one of their cleaners, describing Vespa as one to watch. Next up was someone that I knew was going to be in the competition this year and that I was very excited for, and that was Demetria Phurr. Like with her drag sister and contestant from last year, Blaine Runway, this was a high-energy, shameless slice of fun, with Demetria dancing her way through a slew of pop hits and showing off all her skills. Was the energy as infectious to the judges though? Well, from what she could see of it through the smoke, Rory loved the energy, while Plastique pointed out that she used the space well and didn't come across as nervous as she obviously was. However, their opinions didn't really matter at all, as Penny loved it, stating that she hit every beat and using her golden buzzer to guarantee Demetria through to week 2. Haway Sis was next, and while they're friends with many of the queens on the scene, I'd never seen them perform before. The performance was themed on the recent movie The Substance, incorporating sound clips and props and even some fake blood, and Haway looked gorgeous. However, the shoes. I was on edge throughout this whole performance because Haway seemed so shaky on these extreme pieces of footwear. There were a few occasions that I thought she was either going to stumble off the stage or break an ankle. It takes a lot of courage to get up there and perform, especially in front of your friends and peers, and while it was a decent performance, it was sadly a case of choosing style over the substance. Unfortunately, none of the judges had actually seen the movie, but they all managed to understand what was actually going on, but with each of them mentioning the shoes and being fearful for Haway's safety. Rory was the most positive out of them, calling it absolutely brill. Next up was, and I know I'm going to mess this up even though I asked her how it's actually pronounced, TT. 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 This number was delightful chaos. It started off a bit shaky with some live mic sass and some of the spoken word in the track not quite being audible enough, but with T quickly recovering.
So Chris, let's go.
Fuck it, let's do it. It's okay, let's keep going.
And going into an insane version of Old MacDonald, throwing shade at Chris and the judges.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a recovering alcoholic. E-I-E-I-O.
I'm nothing special. In fact, I'm a bit of a ball.
Now, there's been a lot of talk recently about how maybe everyone should cool off with the nonce jokes directed at Penni T, especially now her fiancé is old enough to drive. But all of this went out the window here, with a barrage of shade cast in the Palmo Queen's direction to hilarious effect.
And on that farm he had
I'm getting the word. Nonce.
Sorry, Penny.
How old are you?
I'm here and it
That's big, by the way.
there. You're
Nuts! Nuts!
everywhere.
Nuts! Nuts!
Old MacDonald had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O.
This was apparently only TT's second performance ever, and all in all it was messy and shocking. And you know what? I want to see more. The judges enjoyed the chaos too, with Rory comparing it to Stacey Wrecked and Plastique describing it as delightfully obnoxious and like a combination of former controversial performers Jackie LaQ and O'Lyra. Penny had this to say.
It was crazy, but I thought it was crazy in a fucking hilarious way. It was stupidity. It was somebody just coming out and saying, do you know what, I look absolutely gorgeous, but I'm going to show you that that's not all I am, I'm going to try something different. And that's exactly what you did. For me, it was a fab little number. I really enjoyed it. You just need to kind of learn to control it a little bit. If you control it, that would have been absolutely brilliant.
A well-established new queen on the scene was next. QiQi is a force to be reckoned with, and I got to chat to her before the show to see what we can expect from this year. It's actually recording. Yeah, it is. I've forgotten how my phone works. It's been too long, actually. Okay.
We're live.
Yep. Hello, I'm here with the sensational QiQi, who is one of the contenders this year in Drag Idol. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm stunning. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited, but I'm also like, I'm not as nervous as all of you lot, but it's still that idea of, you want everyone to do really well. And
are you reliving it being in there?
Yeah, every year I do Snatch Talk, I'm just like going, I remember that feeling. Like, I remember, like, because obviously I got to the semi-finals and I was like, I'm glad I went home because I'm so worn out from it. You know,
But I'd be fine past week 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to bed now.
That's it, just sleep through it. Sleep through it, you'll be fine. So now you are, a sensation on the northern scene. Like, you've done...
Go that far?
Well, you've done a lot of things and you've, like, performed a lot. I've seen you... many times. What inspired you to enter Idol this year?
Honestly, it was the previous contenders of all the people on the northern scene that I know. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't get the opportunities I do if it wasn't for those before me who got the opportunities from Idol. So it's, it's a rite of passage on the northern scene, isn't it? So I wanted to do it. Put my hat in the ring. We'll see what happens.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about what we can expect tonight?
Is this going to be posted after it's happened?
It'll probably be before. Yeah, it'll post that after the official one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing Aura by Lady Gaga, and I'm doing it in this burqa. I'm doing this now so you can see my face, but in the stage it'll do a bit of this, bit of a eye. And it's something I want to do stuff I've not done before. So I don't do burlesque. I've never done it, but I wanted to do a burlesque. So we're having all sorts ripped off. And the message really is I wanted to talk about my culture and my heritage. And as I was thinking about it, I really have two. I have the northern scene, the UK in general, and my culture, and both of those that don't necessarily go together. And I feel like I kind of I force them together. Yeah. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. So to me, there's the numbers, a lot of storytelling. It's very personal to me. And it's a combination of my cultures.
Yeah. No, that it's wonderful seeing you manage to somehow bring both of those together so well every time I see you perform.
My parents don't know.
Do they not know?
No, do they fuck? Can I swear on this?
Yeah, you have.
Bleep that, we'll bleep it.
It means I can get away with it.
Stunning.
I can say fuck as well. So.
Oh, there we go. No, yeah, I don't know. It's honestly, it's very difficult. I mean, this will be the first time I'm going live, but on YouTube, on whatever and all that with my parents. So if they do see it, I look like my mum, so it's fine. But it's just one of those things. I just need to do it, and I think it's a message. I've had so many messages from younger queer Muslim brown people about me being the first brown queen they've seen on a stage, which is crazy. There are a lot of us in the UK now, but it's just crazy that is still such a small sect. So maybe I could inspire another QiQi. Yeah. A QiQi light. I'll be the grande, they'll be what's the smaller then?
I mean, let's hope so if they're as good as you. But...
No, too kind.
Now,
thank you so much.
Have you done your research into the previous years of the competition? Is there a week that you're looking forward to if it happens, or
live week? I think I would be not because I think I'd do well, but because I think I'd be comfortable. Yeah. I think I just want a week where I can go on and be like, oh, do you know what? I'll just chat shit on a mic, have a bit of fun, and then I hope that fun would be infectious to other people. So that's my live week. Would be if I make it to live week. Well, yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. But
fingers crossed.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you so much.
We will hopefully see you in week 2, QiQi.
Here's hoping.
This performance had everything, with Chai coming out in her burqa-style ensemble and giving us choreography, lip sync, and reveals, including a wonderfully pointless reveal towards the beginning. It was fierce, and it told a story purely through song choice and outfit. Now, normally I'd criticise that this was purely the one song, but it was so intensely engaging that I don't really think anyone noticed. Rory said that she absolutely fucking loved it, describing it as flawless and very different to previous years, giving Chai an opportunity to explain the number and provide some hilarious live mic sections. Saying of Penni T, "If I'm Chai T, then she's flat white."
It's the first time I've ever been called flouty, you know what I mean? I'm calling you constable, Skinny.
Both Penny and Plastique described it as the best performance so far, and none of the judges wanted to waste their golden buzzer because they were so confident that Chai would get through. Gladys wasn't shy, however, and instead used her golden buzzer on principle to put Chai T through as one of the best in show. Next up was a returning contestant all the way back from 2020, the COVID year of the competition. After a very off and on career in drag so far, Sxarlett was back to show us how far she's come, and honestly it was worth the wait. Coming out to Scarlet Witch quotes from the Marvel movies before going into Lady Gaga's Abracadabra. There was a reveal to a full Scarlet Witch outfit, and honestly it was very on brand and very well done. It might not have been the most original idea in the world, but the editing was good and the execution was excellent. While Rory had been absent from 2020, both Penny and Plastique were marked on the glow up, but both agreed that the pairing of the Scarlet Witch and Abracadabra was a bit predictable. Rory was on the fence with it all though, saying that it was good, but was it the right choice? It was up to Gladys to point out that the number would be perfect for any drag brunch and was very, very current. Our singular drag king Boob Ross was up next, and I was very, very here for this. They were so nervous backstage, and yet here we got nothing less than a very fun performance. Starting off with a live mic parody song, introducing themselves before going into one of my favourite types of gag, doing the whole intro to a song purely for a single joke. The result being a lot of boob insertion. Through a litany of famous songs, yes. It was camp, it was silly, it was enjoyable. The judges loved it, with Gladys mentioning that every moment of it was a moment, and Rory stating that she loved a drag king. Going on to say that Boob couldn't have crammed any more into his time, and that she would definitely see him next week.
Because my little golden buzzer is going to Boob Ross!
Straight through to next week, fabulous. Thank you very much for scoring.
This annoyed Plastique, who had been intending to use her golden buzzer on Boob, going on to call them her best of the night and referencing previous contestant Venus de Milo as an example of another incredible week one number. Next up, it was the absolute wild card of the night. Now, I've known them a bit through the TikToks and their very funny clips on it, but this was my first time seeing the character of Sister Fanny on stage, travelling up all the way up from Wales to compete, and complete with her habit and prosthetic mask. Fanny took us to church with a very crude parody song that both the audience and especially Miss Rory were very familiar with.
I'm nothing special. In fact, I'm a bit of a whore. If you've sucked a man, I've probably sucked him before.
It just got cruder from there, including a reveal that was almost enough to turn me to the Holy Spirit.
So I say, thank you for the blowjobs, the sucks I'm given. Thanks for all the sex I'm having. Who can live without it? I ask in all honesty. What would life be without a blow or a fuck What are we?
But what did the judges think? Well, Plastique praised the pre-recording of the track, going on to describe it as a fabulous number and a great parody song. Penny was mostly lost for words, calling it one of the most surreal things she's ever seen and speculating on what she was going to do next week. Rory only had songs of praise for Fanny, saying,
That was absolutely off the wall, fucking crazy, fantastic. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going to happen here? Where the fuck is this going to go? Why the hell are we here? What's happening? I fucking loved it. I absolutely did.
As she left the stage, it was up to the judges to speculate on who Sister Fanny could be underneath that mask, with Gladys calling for a reveal at the Boulevard final. Praise be! Something much more traditional was next, as Khloe Kennedy hit the stage, dancing her way through a Little Mix mega mix. Showing us her moves and ending her number with the splits. It was nicely done, however, like the shoes for Haway Sis before her, Chloe's wig was causing issues, not moving as she meant it to, and at one point ending up in her face. You could see what Khloe was going for, but I think the biggest issue here was that we'd already had this same vibe and style of number earlier in the night with Demetria. The judges were less than kind, saying that it lacked punch and didn't hold their attention, with Plastique saying that a week one number should tell a story about the contestant, and aside from liking Little Mix and being able to do the splits, they still didn't know who Khloe Kennedy was. Next up was Leviathanne. Or was it?
Tacky, tasteless chant. Make some noise for Leviathanne!
Cleaning crew to stage, please. That's the cleaning crew to stage, please.
Don't make some noise for Leviathanne because it's the wrong track, everybody! We've reached that point of Drag Idol. Chris is fucked it, everyone!
Well, it wouldn't be Drag Idol without some technical issues, would it? So instead we moved on to our first Scottish contestant of the night, Skinny Minnie, with her own interpretation of Braveheart. This performance threw in every Scottish trope out there to great effect, with the whole thing feeling very seasoned and very professional. Gladys said she enjoyed it, and Rory was also a fan, calling it just what she wanted from a week one contestant. Plastique and Penny, however, were much more critical, saying that it felt a lot longer than it actually was, and it could have done more, eliciting boos from the audience. Now that the track had been sorted, it was time for Open Drag alumni Leviathanne to strut their stuff with a number about their transgender identity.
What kind of girl are you?
Let's just say I'm a special girl.
She's just a girl, the girl you want.
And nothing was off limits.
The fuck's funny?
It even took it so far as having Demetria perform a sex change operation with a chainsaw, and that's definitely on the list of sentences I didn't think I'd be saying today.
Oh, it's okay. I'm transgender.
Oh, I had no idea. Do whatever you want all the time.
I just had a transgender operation.
It was groovy and stylish and politically punchy in the best way possible. I did think at the time that she didn't use the stage enough, but in hindsight, being on the runway did allow her to interact with the audience more. Gladys was noticeably uncomfortable with some of the language used, however Plastique enjoyed how uncomfortable it made her, pointing out that by reclaiming the words that people use against us, it takes power away from them, cementing her love for the performance by granting Leviathanne her golden buzzer for the night. Rory and Penny agreed with Plastique about language reclamation and how, with America sinking into ruin and the rise of the far right over here in the UK, just how scary the world is getting for us right now. Zizi Donovan was up next, bringing a bit of glitz and glamour to the stage with some classic 90s music. I was just beginning to think that this was the most sophisticated number of the night, until the language turned more blue and with more mentions of the C word than a Facebook post describing the members of the Tory party. I loved this, and I felt that it was the best executed choreography we'd seen of the night, with Zizi making it all look seamless and intentional. Plastique also liked it, describing it as a great time and saying that while it was getting late, it totally reinvigorated the room. Penni was slightly more critical though, praising the number and the message, but saying that the moves were far too repetitive and that there was more that she could bring. Rory, after retrieving a missing earring from the floor, said that she loved the whole thing, disagreeing with Penni about the movement.
I thought the movement was fine. The movement was no different to the movement anybody. Look at the fucking face on it when you say something.
No, I'm not saying the movement wasn't fine, I just said it was a little bit repetitive.
Well, that's what fucking movement is! What do? Fucking forward, 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 roll, roll, roll! Fuck off. Honest to God. It's not the fucking roll she'd be having, the roll she'd be having is a fucking bacon roll. So, don't you listen to her, she's only fucking jealous and she probably wants to eat you. So, haven't you missed me? I really have missed you.
One that I had been waiting for was up next. They've already hosted their own cabaret nights around the town and won musical competitions with their incredible voice. But how would Lilian Larkin fare on the Drag Idol stage? The answer is very, very well. Telling a rags to riches story of a cleaning woman discovered for her amazing singing and elevated up to stardom.
I just have to forget the The past swept up right off the stage floor. The future is here with me. Choose me.
It was a very well executed narrative, including a wonderful live vocal of Let Me Be Your Star from Smash.
I'm what you've been needing. I'm right here and my heart's beating. Let me be your star.
Now, I kinda feel guilty about this, as when asked for some advice for the competition, I told Lilian to avoid live vocals, mostly because of the frequency of mic problems that we get in the competition. But how wrong I was. Mixing her vocal and storytelling talents, Lilian had nothing to fear with this number. The judges felt the same, praising the story, vocals and song choices, with Rory coining the nickname Big Lil for them and loving that they braved that performance in week 1. That's me telt. Now, once the stage was set up...
Oh, it's here, Chris. Fucking seamless, everybody.
It was time for a queen I'd not heard of before, Sambuca, with an incredibly well-crafted number. Sporting a comedically oversized hearing aid, Sambuca took us through the trials and tribulations of being deaf.
Now shuffling Sambuca's playlist, Deaf Songs for Drag Idol 2025.
It was hilariously executed, with one particularly brilliant section that just needs to be seen.
Battery low. Battery low.
It was spectacular, with both Penni and Plastique describing it as the funniest number of the night and pointing out just how Sambuca had got the whole audience on their side. Rory loved that they'd taken something that people would class as a disability and turned it into something amazing, describing it as high-powered, high-paced fun. If only there was a way to guarantee Sambuca through to week 2. But all of the judges had used their golden buzzers, so it was up to Gladys and Plastique to bully Chris into putting her through with his. Our last performer of the night was up next, although there was a lot of setup to be done with both Vic the Prick and scene regular Arden helping to construct pole equipment for the stage.
Pussy, pussy, pussy!
Fizzy, fizzy, fizzy! Pussy, fizz, pussy, fizz,
Pussy, pussy, pussy!
bring it back now, yeah.
Mandy Patinkin,
Body form, yeah.
body form for comfort,
Body form for freedom.
body form for
Penny.
If this doesn't happen at the fucking final, I'll be fuming.
Was it worth the wait when Edinburgh contestant the Co finally hit the boards though? Sadly, I'm going to say not.
I'm a queen of queens. I am every dude's dream, every woman's dream too. I'm the type you've never seen. Keep a track of all the money.
It's harsh of me, but this number had me on edge the whole way through as the Co showed off her moves on the pole and around the stage. I was fully expecting something to go wrong with the Co not seeming as confident on the apparatus as I'd expect someone who's just lugged a pole dancing pole down from Edinburgh to be. I even felt like the best bits were when they stepped away from the pole and interacted with the audience. The judges, when they'd finished dealing with a drunk girl asking for songs to be played for her birthday.
Happy birthday. I'm not being mean, I'm just saying happy birthday.
I'll be mean. This is a stage and there's a show on, darling. Everyone's born, you're not fucking special. Off you go. Ta-ra.
Where's Stacey Wrecked when you need her?
They were mostly conflicted about the number, with each of them sat on the fence about it. They'd all wanted more from the pole dancing and weren't sure what else the Co would bring to another week of the competition. With that, we'd seen all of our 15 contestants, so it was time for the judges to make some decisions. So, for the first time of 2025, we're heading into spoiler territory here. So, if you don't want to know who goes home and who goes through, although you already know like 5 of them, then switch off, smother your device in jam, and watch as it progressively gets covered in bees. For the rest of you though, once the contestants were all back on the stage, we were reminded of our golden buzzer winners Demetria Phurr, QiQi, Boob Ross, Leviathanne and Sambuca, who were all through to next week, closely followed by Sister Fanny, Zizi Donovan, Lilian Larkin, TT, Sxarlett, Vespa and finally the Co. Now, there were loud disagreements from the audience, but our 3 contestants not making it through to the second round were Khloe Kennedy, Haway Sis and Skinny Minnie. It's always a shame to see people go home this early in the competition, but sometimes it's just not your night. All that was left was for Gladys to announce the theme for the next week, which was Best of British. Let's see what our 13 contestants come up with for that. Before the night was over though, I was able to have a chat with one of our departing dance queens, Khloe Kennedy, to find out a bit more and see just how she was feeling.
Hello there, it's me, the Velvet Snatch, and I'm here with the sensational Khloe Kennedy. How are you feeling after tonight?
At first I was nervous in my head after watching everyone else. Like, I went on the stage, I turned to Demetria and I counted myself out at the beginning. And I was like, I'm not going through next week. Got on the stage, didn't perform my best number. If you're seen as open drag, like, I'm a way better performer than what I showed tonight. And then once I finished my number, I was on the stage, getting my critiques shaking. And then as soon as I got off, the waterworks just started.
But you did so well. Like, it's people watching this need to know how difficult it is to get on that stage and do what you did tonight. Like, it's terrifying because it's a mental game. Like the anxiety before you go on, the seeing the other contestants and everything you've just said there. And you did it. You know, you were on late, which is it can be a blessing sometimes, but a lot of the time it's like, oh, it psychs you out. You know, if you've seen people do things, but do you reckon you'll enter again next year?
It depends on it closer at the time. I probably will, because I know that wasn't my best, but next year I'll probably come back with not in my head, and probably a bit more choreography, like more planned things out, and just try my best, as I always do.
No, that's it. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Khloe Kennedy, Facebook Khloe Kennedy. I think that's it for all the apps.
And obviously the Open Drag Night?
Yes, Open Drag Night. You can find me performing better with even more like outrageous stunts. Can't stand off the stage into a split. Couldn't do it like that because of the space, but yeah, you can catch me that there.
It's the thing, we all have good nights, we all have bad nights, and you just hope that the bad night when it happens isn't something important, but you did yourself proud tonight, and hopefully everyone will get down to the Open Drag Nights and Oscars in Newcastle to see you
every Wednesday.
No, it's every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday,
No, thank you so much for speaking to me, Khloe Kennedy, and
thank you.
Good luck in the future.
Thank you. Bye guys.
Finally, I've heard a few people suggesting that Skinny's expulsion from the competition may have been due to a current controversy surrounding her, but then we get back into the age-old does your current social status affect your ability to do your job properly argument. It's a thorny one, but judging them purely on their performance from the night, I thought they were really good, and I was lucky enough to get the chance to chat to them backstage.
Hello, I'm here with our second loss for the evening, and
loser.
I'm honestly gutted, Skinny Minnie. Like I've never disagreed with the judges so much, and I was like, I was there for you. I loved that.
It's honestly okay. From my perspective, I've been a fan of Drag Idol since the pandemic. Me and my friend Rue, we used to watch the old seasons, the ones that have been taken off YouTube in the pandemic, because we enjoyed like the drag content. We enjoyed just getting to watch that and have a bit of escapism, which is what drag is about, honestly. And for me, I've wanted for years to have the experience of getting to be in Drag Idol, and this was the time where it made sense for me and it worked out for me to come and do this. I had so much fun. All I wanted was to be on the stage and to be a part of the history. And you know what? I've never been a pork chop before. Every pageant I've ever done before, I've won. So see being the pork chop, it's like kind of fierce. I'm happy about it. I honestly am.
It's a new experience, and that's the joy of drag.
Listen, there is no peaks without valleys in life. There are no peaks without valleys in life, honestly. But no, I'm really grateful to be here, really grateful to have got to meet everyone, and really grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say the outfit I love it so much.
Honey, I'm going to be honest with you, this is probably the cheapest outfit I have ever worn in a competition. Like, for real. This is just a sash that my friend put together, and we've like safety pinned it to like a skirt that my friend let me borrow, and a bloody £4 corset belt out of the goth shop. I'm not even gonna lie. Maybe this was what was the problem. I was like, I'm not gonna go in one and be like insanely guns blazing, throw everything, like a fucking candle at my ass, you know what I mean? I was like, we'll rely on the presence, and then I didn't quite work out, did it?
No, well.
But you know, you win some, you lose some in life.
Well, that's it. It sounds like you've won a lot of things so far, so it's...
Well, you know what, maybe it's someone else's turn.
Yeah, that's it. Someone else can have a chance.
For sure. I'm happy to abdicate the platform.
There we go. Very noble of you.
Of course. It was actually my decision. I told Gladys to fucking rig me out, of course.
That's it, you own this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where can people find you, Skinny?
So if you are north of the border in Scotland, you can find me at either of my 2 weekly shows. I do a drag show every single Tuesday night in Campus, Glasgow, on Tuckyhall Street from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. And I do a Wednesday drag show at Lafferty's Bar on Home Street between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. I also DJ in Planet Bar on selected Saturdays, and I am very, very, very bookable. So you can message me at Skinny Minnie Queen on Instagram. That's Skinny with a Y and Minnie with an I-E, the way a normal person would spell it. Thank you so much.
No, brilliant. It's wonderful chatting to you, Skinny, and well done for tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. But last thing I will say, by the way, the fact that after it finished, they started playing Glee songs when my 3 words were Glee class version, that feels fucking targeted, bitch.
And that's your lot for another episode of Snatch Talk. Hopefully I'll see you next week for round 2 of Drag Idol 2025. If you have any thoughts on this episode, whether you agree or disagree with my opinions, please let me know in the comments, and like, share and subscribe to see more of my content. Goodbye.